Hi, my name is Laura Andrews, and this is my sheep's brain dissection lab for Biology 235 at APU, University College. So I have already split this brain along the longitudinal fissure, but we will start with it as a whole. At the anterior end of the brain, I have the frontal lobe. On the left and right lateral sides, I have the parietal lobe here and here. Inferior to that, I have the temporal lobe here, as well as on this side. And at the posterior end, I have the occipital lobe here and here, and this is the cerebellum. Now, I have gyrus and sulci that are the ridges and the grooves, respectively, that run along the surface of the cerebrum. One of the most important sulci is called the longitudinal fissure, and this separates the left and right hemispheres of the brain, and it can be split in half as shown here, like this, which we'll cover later. On the lateral side, I have the lateral sulcus, which if you pull it apart, you can see, can't really see here, but you can see into the insula, which lies deep to the temporal lobe. Flipping the brain over and looking at the ventral side, we have the olfactory bulbs here underneath the frontal lobe, which run down the olfactory tract. I have the optic nerve here and here, which would pass through the optic canal of the skull. And then I have the optic chiasma here, where the optic nerve desiccates. I also have the cerebral peduncles here, or the feet of the cerebrum. And if we look internally here, split along the mid-sagittal section, I have the thalamus here, and underneath that I have the hypothalamus, and then running along here, you can't see it here, but this right here would be the infundibulum, and attached to that would be the pituitary gland, or the hypophysis. But unfortunately, in this particular object, the pituitary gland has been severed. I think I might have accidentally removed it with the mac and cheese. But right here it would attach to the hypothalamus via the infundibulum. And there you go. Now we're going to look at the cranial nerves on the sheep's brain. As I previously mentioned, we have the olfactory bulbs here, which run down the olfactory tract. I have the optic nerves, which then desiccate at the optic chiasma. Now if we go toward the center of the brain, I have the ocular motor nerve here and here. Going further down, I have the abducens nerve here, right here. And on this side, I was able to locate the trochlear nerve here, and then down here, I have the trigeminal nerve. Next, we're going to focus on the deep structures of the brain. So, first, I have the cerebellum here, and this is the cerebrum. If we look here, we can see the pineal gland right there. I have the, what is this called? I have the corpora quadrigemina right here, which consists of the superior caniculi, and down here I have the inferior caniculi. All right. And finally, to wrap this up, we are going to look at the sagittal section of the brain. So I've already split the brain along the longitudinal fissure that separates the right and left hemispheres, and we have an image that looks like this when it's split in half. So here we have the cerebrum up top, the corpus callosum, let me get my forceps. The corpus callosum is this mass that runs here, and this is the object that connects the right and left hemispheres. I have the fornix at the anterior end of the corpus callosum. If I pull this down here, you're able to see into the lateral ventricle. That hole there is the lateral ventricle. I have the mass of the thalamus right here. The cerebral peduncles, or the feet of the cerebrum, is down here. I have the pons here. This is the medulla oblongata. The fourth ventricle runs here in between. The corpus quadrigemina is here and consists of the superior and inferior caniculi. I have the cerebellum with the arbor vitae. Let me see if I can get a close-up look here. And the arbor vitae is the white matter that runs inside the gray matter and looks like a tree of life, which is what arbor vitae stands for in, I believe, Latin. And then here I have the pineal body, which is the pineal gland, and the pineal gland is responsible for regulating our circadian rhythm. And there you have it. This is my sheep's brain anatomy lab. Looking forward to our next lab when we get to dissect the heart. Thank you so much.